Students, here I am Mrs. Tanya and we are moving on with the same story quality which I have last taught you and uploaded the video, and here it is from page number 28 to 30. We will continue. Now we have seen the two characters in this story, that was Mr. Gessler, the brothers and the narrator. Let us start. Please open up your book. I cannot forget that day on which I had occasion to say to him, Mr. Gessler, that last pair of town walking boots creaked, you know. The narrator is saying, I cannot forget that day when I went to Mr. Gessler and told him that last pair of boots what you made, it got creaked. He looked at me for a time without replying, as if expecting me to withdraw or qualify the statement. He was expecting that he will say something else. So he just looked at him and then said, I would shouldn't have creaked. It did, I am afraid. He said, no, I don't think. My shoes will get creaked. It did, I am afraid. You got them wet before they found themselves. I don't think so. Now, Mr. Gessler said, I think you have not brought that boots from here. You have brought it from somewhere else. At that, he lowered his eyes as if hunting for memory of those boots, and I felt sorry I had mentioned this grave thing. And Mr. Gessler was really feeling sorry that his boots got creaked, and he was feeling like very embarrassed. So the narrator felt very sad that why I said this. Send them back, he said, I will look at them. Then he said, bring that boots, I will see. A feeling of compassion for my creaking boots surged up in me. So well could I imagine the sorrowful long curiosity of regard which he would bend on them. Zoom boots, he said slowly, are bad from birth. If I can do nothing with them, I take them off your bill. He's saying, some boots, he said slowly, are bad from birth. He said, some boots are from the beginning only not good, and if you want, I will take it back and I will return your money. Once I went absent-mindedly into his shop in a pair of boots bought in an emergency at some large firms. He took my order without showing me any leather, and I could feel his eyes penetrating the inferior integument of my foot. At last he said, those are not my boots. Afterward he said, these boots are not mine. The tone was not one of the anger nor of sorrow, nor even of contempt, but there was in it something quiet that froze the blood. He put his hand down and pressed a finger on the place where the left boot, endeavoring to be fashionable, was not quite comfortable. When he wore the boots, he touched the finger and he understood at this corner of part, this boot is not comfortable. It hurts you there? Hurts means it hurts you there, he said. Those big worms have no self respect, Drash. And then, as if something had given way within him, he spoke long and bitterly. What he said? He said, those big worms are no self respect. And then, as if something had given way, he said, on page number 29, if you open, you will see it is written there. Within him, he spoke long and bitterly. It was the only time I ever heard him discuss the conditions and hardships of his trade. That time only he discussed his hardship, what all he faced. They get it all, he said. They get it by advertisement, not by work. He said, these people make the boots only to advertise it. They are not doing it properly. They take it away from us who loaf our boots. It goes to this, presently I have no work. He said, presently I have no work. Every year it gets less, you will see. He said, what to do? These people advertise it and then they sell their boots, and I am not getting any work. And looking at his lined face, I saw things I had never noticed before. Bitter things and bitter struggle, and what a lot of grey hairs there seemed suddenly in his red beard. And suddenly in his red beard, some grey hairs were seen, like he's getting old. And he's feeling so painful and he's feeling sad that we are doing the work so properly, and these people, just for money's sake, they are doing the work. As best I could, I explained the circumstances of the purchase of those ill-omened boots, but his face and voice made so deep impression that during the next few minutes I ordered many pairs. But looking at Mr. Gessler's face, that he is very sad that his boots are not being purchased, not being sold out, so he purchased many pairs. Nymphs fell, they lasted more terribly than ever, and I was not able consistently to go to him for nearly 2 years. And these boots lasted for many years, and the narrator was unable to go to him nearly 2 years. When at last I went, I was surprised to find that outside one of the two little windows of his shop, another name was painted, also that of a bootmaker, making of course for the royal family. Now, after 2 years, when he went there, he saw that was another name on one window. The old familiar boots, no longer in dignified isolation, were huddled in the single window. Inside, the now contracted well of the one little shop was more scented and darker than ever. And it was longer than usual, too. Before a face peered down, a tip tap of the best slippers began. At last, he stood before me and, gazing through those rusty iron spectacles, said, "Mister, isn't it?" Now, what happened? The narrator was shocked after 2 years to see the condition was really changed. That big shop was divided into two, and on the other window side, that was another bootmaker who was stitching the boots for the royal family. But Mr. Gessler's shop was really changed, and then suddenly he was waiting to hear the tip tap of the person coming down, but suddenly he saw one person in front of him, and he called the narrator, "Mister." "Ah, Mr. Gessler," I stammered, "but your boots are really too good, you know. See, these are quite decent still." And I stretched out to him my foot. He looked. He said, "See, after this many years, your boots are so good." And he stretched out his foot and showed him that, "See it." "Yes," he said, "people do not want good boots, it seems." He said, "Yes, that is true, but nowadays people don't want good boots." Then he says, to get away from his reproachful eyes and voice, I hastily remarked, "What have you done to your shop?" He said, "Now what happened to your shop?" He answered quietly, "It was too expensive." He said, "It was too expensive to give the payment of the shop." "Do you want some boots?" Then he asked, "Do you want any boots?" I ordered 3 pairs, though I had only wanted two. Narrator said, "I wanted only two, but seeing his miserable condition, I ordered three," and quickly left. I do not know quite what feeling of being part in his mind, of a conspiracy against him, or not perhaps so much against him as against his idea of boot. One does not, I suppose, care to feel like that, for it was again many months before my next visit to his shop. Now, after ordering 3 pairs of boots, he left the shop. He was not able to understand the condition. It was because Mr. Gessler did not explain that much. He only said it was expensive. So he ordered 3 pairs so that Mr. Gessler can get some money, and he went away. After a few months, he went again. Paid, I remember, with the feeling, "Oh well, I can't leave the old boy, so here goes. Perhaps it will be his elder brother." For his elder brother, I knew, had not character enough to reproach me even dumbly. He thought he may be his elder brother who is coming. And to my relief, in the shop there did appear to be his elder brother handling a piece of leather. And the elder brother, he thought he is the elder brother who is handling the piece of leather. "Well, Mr. Gessler," I said, "how are you?" He came close and peered at me. He looked at him. "I am pretty well," he said slowly, "but my elder brother is dead." So who was he? He was the younger one. He said, "I am pretty well, but my elder brother is no more." And I saw that it was indeed himself. But how aged and worn, because the younger one was looking so aged. So the narrator thought he is the elder one, but actually the elder brother died. And I saw that it was indeed himself, but how aged and worn. Never before had I heard him mention his brother. Much shocked, I murmured, "Oh, I am sorry." He said, "Oh, I am sorry, I did not know." "Yes," he answered, "he was a good man. He made a good boots, but he is dead." And he touched the top of his head, where the hair had suddenly gone as thin as it had been on that of his poor brother. Like that was of his elder brother, the half hair was gone. Same way was the condition of now younger brother. "I suppose the cause of death." Now he touched his hair and said, of his poor brother, to indicate, I suppose, he said, maybe of some condition, I don't know, he is, I suppose, the cause of death. Means narrator was thinking maybe this is the condition. They were not able to sell their boots and all. So out of that tension, out of that worry, the elder brother also died. He could not get over losing the other shop. "Do you want any boots?" But the younger one was really sad that if he will have no money, he have to lose the other part of the shop also. So he asked narrator, "Do you want any boots?" And he held up the letter in his hand. "It is a beautiful piece." And he held the leather in his hand and said, this leather is really so beautiful. And this way Mr. Gessler left from there. Is it clear? The remaining story 31 to page 33. We will complete it in the next video. I hope you understood. If you have any doubt, please clear it to me. You can ask your doubt anytime. Thank you.